In the psychic's chair, the veil between worlds thins, as the smoke deep and let the unseen truths of the immersed, guiding us into the unknown.
Well, good evening and welcome to another program of In the Psychic's Chair, coming to you live from the salubrious surroundings of Craig y Nos Castle here in the Swansea Valley. On the program this evening, having driven all the way from Pembrokeshire, is our guest medium, Donna Miskin. Looking forward to talking to Donna in the chair later. And of course, no program will be complete without our resident historian, Mr. Jeremy Marsh, as he sits with me and we chat about the various former residents of the castle who we spoke to some time ago. And furthermore, we have our resident medium, Elaine Taylor, who will also be sharing experiences with us. So sit back and enjoy another exciting program of In the Psychic's Chair.
MostHauntedCastle.com. Paranormal investigations with a difference. Visit our website or ring reception for details. 01639 731167.
To the first segment of tonight's In the Psychic's Chair, of course, with resident historian Jeremy Marsh. Hi, Jeremy. Again.
Good afternoon, Lazarus.
How are you?
I'm fine. Lovely to see you again.
What should we talk about this week?
Well, I think we covered quite a lot of things that we we experienced while you were channeling, and I was busy recording everything. There were a couple of things that came to mind. One we spoke about was Arthur Williams, who was quite loud. But there was one gentleman, if you remember, that got really excited, and you, whilst in your trance, were rather animated. And of course that was, can you remember?
Yes, I can. Conor Morgan.
Yes.
Conor Morgan. Yes, that was a fascinating experience. The gentleman who organises the ghost hunts here had mentioned that he was having particular problems with one entity. We didn't know who it was. Who had removed a light bulb and thrown it at him. He didn't find it very funny. And he was also standing in the middle of the room downstairs, backstage, where we're going to go later on, and experienced somebody giving him a Chinese burn when there was nobody there. And this particular time that you're talking about, I mean, I never had anybody in an aggressive manner coming through me at all. So it was all, I mean, to me, it was a shock when I woke up, and an even bigger shock when you told me when I woke up before I even looked at the film. But I felt okay. I didn't feel any side effects. But yes, as we'll see from the clip, which we'll play you now.
You'd like to hear me, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you know who I am?
Who's there?
My name is Conor Morgan.
Ah, Conor.
You know me?
Yes.
They wouldn't let me talk to your man, before.
All right.
But I'd said I will behave. And I will. I promised, and I don't break my promises. But you know what I did, don't you?
Perhaps you can remind us.
I took the light bulb from your fitting, threw it at the man.
Of course.
You know why I did that?
Why was that?
I don't like him. I don't like the way they laugh, the way they come, and the way they are rude. Invade my peace. And I walk up and down in front of them, and I show my disgust. I'm one of the few that will show my disgust. And I don't like it. One of these days, I will hurt somebody. One of these days, I will. Just to make them go away and leave us in peace.
So there we are. He was nasty.
Yes,
wasn't he?
quite a character.
Interestingly, he's never been back again. And to my knowledge, he's never actually done anything since then either.
No, not that I can recall.
No, I mean, we'll have to ask Paul. See
Yes,
if he,
the regular ghost hunters may have seen something, but normally they would say if there was any
and we haven't
occurrences.
heard anything.
Yeah.
Of course, the interesting thing for people to know is that at the time, as you just saw from the film, he was very adamant and very animated, and of course, I was animated as a result of that, which is what happens when you channel. But the next day, I had to go to the hospital for my annual checkup. And surprise, surprise, there I was sitting in the cath lab and was asked by the technician if my pulse rate was normally 147, which of course it isn't. Which is followed up with all sorts of the usual questions of are you ill, are you dizzy, so on and so forth. None of the above. I felt absolutely fine. But I knew what it was. It was the residual effects of the energy from Conor the day before. God knows what my pulse rate was probably like that evening.
Yeah.
But I had no feelings, symptomatology at all of anything being wrong. In fact, I felt really good. A little bit of a headache afterwards, after having John, but that went away quite quickly. But wasn't aware of anything else. And was rapidly informed by the doctor that an immediate admission was essential. And I didn't. I mean, there's nothing. I couldn't really say. Well, actually, I was in trance yesterday and had a very angry spirit speaking through me, because I could just visualise a little white van appearing from Kevin Coy with the two men in white coats and the little straitjacket and the bucket of horse tranquilizer waiting for me in the little padded room they had reserved. So I kept my mouth shut, as you would, and knowing full well that it would come down. And as sure as apples is apples, later on in the evening, my pulse rate did come down. However, in the meantime, our wonderful NHS in their wisdom, who had obviously thought they'd saved my life in some way, which on this occasion they didn't, and down it came. And so everything was okay. What was fascinating for me was having experienced that. I mean, I've been trance channeling for 40 years, and I have never experienced anything like that before in my life. Or if I did, I wasn't aware of it. And I just wondered if I hadn't have gone for that checkup that day, whether I would have known about it anyway.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, Conor's main issue was that he didn't really like people in the place or investigating.
No, I don't blame him, really. I mean, I think we have great respect and have had great respect since we started doing the channeling work. We did, didn't we? And it took us quite a good couple of months, wasn't it, really, before we really started to get into a swing. We had experiences, we had automatic writings, we had some trancing, but nothing like we ended up getting. And it was almost as if we were being sussed out, as if we, are these guys okay? Or is this going to be something that we're not going to enjoy? Because what people seem to forget is that, life is everlasting. And just because one is through the veil doesn't mean to say you don't have the same feelings and emotions that you do in this part of the universe, so to speak, So that was fascinating. We never had anything like it again, did we?
No. That's why it probably is one of the memorable moments.
Yeah, well, memorable for you, perhaps. I mean, it was pretty memorable for me, actually, thinking about it. But it was a one-off.
It was.
Thank goodness. Well, we'll have a word next week and see if we can think of any more one-offs that we had, shall we?
Absolutely.
Just to bring for your information.
Yep.
So from Jeremy Marsh, our resident historian, For the time being, thank you very much.
Walls Have Ears, 1843 to 1877, Volume 1. Why not tune in to Showboat Television Online, Roku or Amazon Fire and watch Whisperings of Craig y Nos, produced by John Rolls and based on channeling and books by Lazarus Carpenter. A journey into the paranormal, only on Showboat Television. Book available from Artist and Makers Emporium SA9, 1GL, Amazon, and LazarusCarpenterAuthor.com. Volume 2 coming soon.
Well, hello and welcome to our special guest medium in the Psychic's Chair this evening, Donna Miskin. Hello, Donna.
Good evening.
And welcome to In the Psychic's Chair. Have a good drive over from Pembrokeshire?
Yeah, it was a nice drive over, actually. Very nice.
And you are a medium and you have a number of, let's say, little adventures that you go on periodically.
I do, yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey?
My journey started in my late 20s, I would say, where I kind of started exploring. And I kind of went on my own agenda because I tried going to circles, but never kind of quite sat with me very well. But it all really started when I went to visit a medium who said, "Why are you that side of the chair? You're supposed to be this side of the chair." And I was like, I haven't got a clue what I was doing. So it was a long process.
Right, I've been there, I know that feels.
Yeah.
Like. As you know, Elaine's mother did that to me. Yeah. So what about, let me take it back, further back, to when you were a child. Any experiences at all?
None that I remember.
Right, nothing at all, no connection that you can think of?
Not that I can remember. I remember having an imaginary friend.
Let's stick with the invisible friend for a moment, shall we? Who was the invisible friend?
I can't remember the name, but they just come everywhere with me on holidays and everything. So, yeah.
And did your parents catch you talking?
Yeah, quite a lot.
And their reaction?
Was, oh, she's got an imaginary friend.
Right, okay. But at the time, you just thought that was an imaginary
I just thought it was normal for a child to kind of do at that point.
Right. I mean, this is one of the things that we hear a lot about, isn't it? That people will say, well, you know, kids will be kids and they create this and they create that. But I mean, many of us did have imaginary friends that weren't imaginary at all. Yeah. That we perhaps found out later in life. So when your journey opened up for you, what made you start to seek?
It was mainly when my grandfather died that things really started to take off. I was at a psychic evening and a medium called me to one side and she basically told me all about an argument that was going on with my mother and her brother who lived in Canada at that point, because it was my grandfather's funeral the day after. And when I went home, my mum goes, "Where have you been?" And so I said to her, "I already know this has happened." And she's like, "How did you know that?" So that really, really sparked off my interest and curiosity and try and go, right, okay, now is my time.
So your sixth sense at that point was niggling away.
It was.
Saying, hey, listen to me. Yeah. And it took a major trauma for that to happen. Which is also very common too, in the scheme of things. So then what?
So then, like I said, I started looking out for a circle to go to. Got the basics from the circle. I got very frustrated being in a circle. It really didn't sit well for me being in a circle.
Did it?
No, it didn't. So I kind of come away from it. Like I said, started going on my own little journey and figuring things out for myself, trying to understand the way that spirit worked with me. And you just start to get used to things and they change it about a little bit. And so it took some figuring out. But life gets busy and I kind of stepped away from it for a little bit and then went back to it as well.
Families get in the way, don't they?
They do, yeah.
These things. I mean, you're one could say you're back to the vengeance now, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And I mean, you do a lot of work. What in the scheme of things, what do you like doing more than anything? Do you think, as far as using your sixth senses comes to?
I think I like to give people closure.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, when I've been going to events, you get a lot of people in front of you. Obviously, they're all searching for something. They've obviously lost a loved one, which is why they're sat in front of you in the first place. And it's just nice giving them that closure, knowing that the person that's on the other side is kind of letting them know everything is how it should be.
Do you think it's the same for the relative on the other side?
Sometimes, yes.
Because I've always thought, that you kind of don't get salt without pepper. It's kind of they wouldn't have that connection unless there was a need for them to know.
That's right. Yeah.
What's the strangest thing that you've ever experienced with them?
Oh, the strangest thing.
There's been a few, haven't there?
I wouldn't say strange as such. I remember years ago working in quite a grand place like Craig y Nos Castle, but it was St David's place in
the cathedral.
No, it was not St David's in Pembrokeshire. Right. It was in mid Wales, but it was a girl guiding house at the time. And I worked there, and I think there I had quite a lot of experience working there, from people kind of talking in my ear, and so there was a lot of different experiences. I wouldn't say they've all been strange.
No, but I mean, it depends what you define as
strange. Yes, definitely.
I mean, one of the things I noticed about you from the minute you arrived here, you were picking stuff up and seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you see down on the bridge?
Down on the bridge, I could sense that I couldn't quite figure it out, but it was either somebody used to go there to meet somebody, or there was a proposition on the bridge, but there was two people meeting up on the bridge, and the energy shift going into the conservatory.
Right. Tell me about on the bridge. Did you have a sense of what they were wearing?
Not so much what they were wearing, it's just about the way that they were meeting up on the bridge.
Vertically.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
I mean, given that the history of Craig y Nos and given that the park itself is very popular, it has been for over 100 years. With the locals. I mean, if you walk around the park, you'll notice little seats dotted about with people's names on, who have passed away and wanted their final resting place, as it were, to be here. Because it is a beautiful place to be. So it is true to say that Craig y Nos Castle itself, and of course the grounds which now belong to the Brecon Beacons, Craig y Nos Country Park, which was Adelina's back garden back in the day, there is as much spirit activity outside there as there is in here.
Yes.
And that's what makes this such a magical place, really.
It is an amazing place.
You feel it as soon as you walk through the door, don't you?
Yeah.
Difficult not to.
It is. I think as a medium, it's one of those things that you always wonder, what are you going to get, if you're going to get anything, because we don't work via a script.
No.
We're not on stage. We are a vessel, and we work intuitively as well as pick things up. So you do wonder, and as soon as you walk in here, you pick things up from the time.
It's very magical.
It is.
Very magical. I think that it's fair to say that nobody has been on the programme yet who hasn't had the same experiences as yourself. And also it's fair to say that many people who just visit the castle do have experiences. They're not necessarily people that are psychics either, but they do have experiences. But nothing is that I'm aware of anyway, nothing has ever been nasty or
No,
horrible.
no.
In fact, the worst thing that we've ever experienced is, as we were talking about in the programme earlier with Conor, and his anger was understandable and scheme.
Well, when you think of it like that, it's just like it's his home, and he's got intruders in his home, and it's just like ghost hunting isn't like what we do when we kind of picking up things. You know, it's like they are being hunted, aren't they? They're doing things to get a reaction sometimes, and it's not nice.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And what we do isn't entertainment. I mean, although it could be argued that some people find it entertaining, the reality is it's kind of a research thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we communicate with whoever. I mean, certainly in Jeremy and I's case, we got a wealth of information.
I bet.
An absolute wealth of information. Because what we were interested in, which is the same thing as you are, which was gathering their stories.
Absolutely.
Hearing their experiences in their words rather than necessarily what Auntie Madge thinks they say. You know.
And it is, whereas ghost hunting is that slight bit different, where they are literally trying to make them do something just to prove that they're there.
Yeah, I find that really disrespectful.
We're not about that at all. We want to find out a little bit more about them, that history about them, and how they're feeling about various different things.
And have some form of communication which is meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
The connection is meaningful and isn't something that is just seen as being entertained.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Pembroke has got some quite weird
Pembrokeshire's quite busy,
isn't it? A very busy county, quite dark in some places as well. What do you think that's about?
Pembrokeshire itself, obviously, you've got a lot of castles in a small area. So, and there's a lot of ley lines in Pembrokeshire as well. I've done a little bit of research on it because I always wondered why I was being drawn that way, because I'm not from Pembrokeshire originally. But there is, it's like an energy magnet.
So where are you from originally?
Mid Wales originally.
Oh, right. But you are a Welsh.
I am a Welsh girl, yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, because one of the things I have often told about Pembrokeshire is history is very ancient as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not that long ago that Henry IV and his son Henry V were marching all over Pembrokeshire trying to catch Glyndŵr, weren't they?
That's correct. Yeah.
They never did. So I mean, what a lot of people perhaps who are watching the programme and perhaps don't know about Wales, I mean, the Celtic history of Wales is so rich.
It is.
And
it's
so
very
ancient. And with that just doesn't come stories, but what we also see is a tremendous amount of residual energy from people who lived here maybe 1,000 years ago.
There's a lot, and it's not just like Wales has a lot of underworld caverns, and there is a lot of, obviously from the mining industry, so way before that, there is a lot of secret tunnels all over Wales, which there probably is all over the country as well. And it's just the way that everybody kind of sneaked around doing things. There is so much history in it all.
I mean, here we are at Craig y Nos Castle, and a mile up the road is Danarogov Cave, Showcase, which was discovered in the early 1900s by a couple of guys in a corridor.
Yeah.
But that is endless. I mean, they just haven't found the ends of it. They've been exploring it for a long, long time. And here, underneath Craig y Nos, there are tunnels, and there is a cave system that runs all the way through the mountains up to Pembrokeshire on the top of that ridge that you were looking at earlier. And we also have a lot of activity both with water and ley lines crossing and various things. So, I mean, it does beg the question, is there a lot of activity in Craig y Nos because of the ley lines? My answer to that question is yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think there's a lot of connections, like we talk about Owen Glendower. It's just like he didn't just kind of hide in this area. His trail goes all over Wales.
Absolutely.
All over Wales. And when you think of the residual energy that went along that trail and many other trails.
There's one thing I'd love to do: spend the night in Conway Castle on the eve of the celebration of when Glyndŵr walked in there and took it over without a drop of blood being spilled.
Conway Castle is lovely.
Yeah, wonderful story. What's next for you, Donna?
Going forward, I'm not quite sure actually. I'm just going to follow my path and see where it leads me.
But isn't that rather nice, because you're treating each day as a totally new experience as it comes. Donna Miskin, thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for being our guest this evening on In the Psychic's Chair.
Thoughts on suffering. All of us say, we do not want to suffer, and yet each and every day, we cause more suffering to ourselves, and support those who perpetuate suffering for others. We say, we do not want to suffer. What do we mean by suffering? It is created, defined and experienced by so many souls on our planet, and controlled and manipulated by so few. A must for every bookshelf. This thought-provoking little book, inspired by Padre Pio, is written by Lazarus Carpenter and illustrated by Jill Brooks. Available from Lazarus Carpenter.
There he is. A little toad that we've just found hopping about down here. However, it is very damp down here and quite near the river, so it's hardly surprising the little toad should have found its way in. So there we are, a toad, yes, a Craig y Nos.
So, feel anything down here? You sense anything?
Yes, the energy down here is incredible, I've got to say. It does feel like a very busy area for me, especially towards the back. As I look, I've got serving girls running back and forth there, and footmen, that kind of feel to it. Just at the back, I don't feel the energy to be here. It's more at the back that I've got serving people. So.
Right.
Yeah, there's a difference in the energy. Here is lighter, here is more heavier. As we go towards the back little cubby hole there, when we walked in there before, there was a gentleman stood behind me and I could feel his presence there. Didn't really say an awful lot. He was just kind of looking over to say what you're doing here. But yeah, that area is definitely an awful lot more busy than this side of underneath here. I can hear a lot of noise going on, a lot of clanking of things being moved around.
Like an orchestra music kind of feel to it.
Very busy.
Well, that's quite appropriate, really, because down here there was these mechanisms that raised and lowered scenery and so on through the trapdoors above us. Can you see the trapdoors? So it would have been a hive of activity down here.
Yeah.
At the time, this was the last word in Victorian stage equipment.
Yeah.
The last word. And over there, of course, is the entrance to the orchestra pit.
All right.
So that all sort of
kind of fits.
sort of fits together, you know, which is incredible. Really.
I'm also picking up somebody playing a piano, one of those very large grand pianos, because my fingers just want to kind of do this. Yeah. But yeah, lots of laughter with playing the piano as well. Yes. So it was very important.
Yes, yes. Of course, many people were entertained by Adelina and Nicolini, and we were in the function rooms. There was a grand piano in every function room for that purpose, you know.
And it does feel like when you're down here, you want to burst into song and be very theatrical and be queen of the show and queen of the castle, queen of it all, really. It makes you feel very theatrical and light, doesn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. And it is. But a lot of busy movement with it. So there was a lot of backstage things going on. So there was a lot of people moving around and getting things ready. You can feel busyness.
Oh yeah,
down
it
here.
would have been a hive of activity down here when a performance was going on
upstairs.
up there. Yes.
And I feel I got Nicolini, that's the second husband, wasn't it? Him, but he seems to be my friend, I have to say. And I want to stand up quite straight with him, but I've got all the pains in and around the chest and that area. I just feel like there was a lot of love there.
Yes.
And I feel a bit stiff with him also. I don't say he had a walking stick or anything, but I feel a bit stiff with him.
Yeah, he could have, because he, as he got older, of course, he had a chest complaint, which eventually got the better of it. So I could well imagine that as he got older, he would probably have a stick or something.
And he always seems to come with lots of dogs. He's got animals with him as well.
He was very much like the part of the country squire, if you like, and he was very keen on his hunting and fishing, which he did at the rear in the castle grounds, you know. So he would have had, you know, animals around him, dogs particularly, and things like that.
And I do feel the pocket watch that he had would have been special.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Kind of pocket watch, but the back would have been special. So either from Adelina or had a picture on or something along those lines. But, those gentleman watches that would have had some significance.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Okay, well, I think what we'll do is we'll have a walk upstairs into the next period, which is the hospital, and see what Donna thinks of the atmosphere up there.
Absolutely.
And one of the hospitals.
So is this the way to the hospital, Jeremy?
It is. This is part of the original grand staircase. So we'll make our way upstairs, shall we?
Would there have been any hospital wards down on this floor?
Yes, there would be. There's one here.
I was going to say, this room is drawing my attention quite a lot at the moment.
That was Adelina's boudoir.
Okay. I'm very, if I wanted to go in there, I'd like to go, but I can't go in that bit. But I'm very drawn to going into that room.
That was a hospital ward. That room is the same as the one that we go into upstairs.
Okay, as I come over here, I've started to feel a little bit lightheaded, bit of a woozy feeling. I feel like my legs have gone to jelly and it wants to give way. But it's as I go more in this direction, very.
What about your breathing?
Breathing feels very heavy, all in this area.
It's feel like a pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I'm really, really kind of struggling, like with the. I would say more of the breath in than the breath out.
Well, that would be very significant of the hospital, the time of the hospital, wouldn't it, Jeremy, for the breathing?
Oh, of course, yeah.
And can you smell the eucalyptusy, pepperminty?
Very pepperminty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of peppermint smell.
There would have been beds in there. These are probably treatment rooms. That could have been, there's a fireplace in there, that could have been a staff room for the doctors and so on. Yes, every space basically was where they could put a bed.
Was utilised, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Let's have a walk on that way to the large, was probably Ward 2 in the hospital days. But before then, this was what we called a stateroom, which was a room for VIP visitors when Adelina was entertaining, which would have had its own suites and bathroom and everything else. You can see the original fireplaces in various areas as you walk round. But of course, when the hospital authority came, all that was removed. And you had just one large room. The room below is identical in size and shape. So Ward 1 and Ward 2. And this was just absolutely filled with
But it
beds.
does feel, because of the history, it's kind of wiped out the stately home presence and more of the hospital presence
you
here.
don't feel the grandeur status anymore up here. So you don't feel the well-to-do. It's more like
the oppression.
Yeah, you can feel it. It is, it's a very pressing and pushing energy that's up here.
Yeah.
Whereas we're downstairs.
And
we
I
were
find
kind of
my lungs always hurt and my chest hurts
Yeah,
here. I
my
get
chest
very
here.
squashed here.
As soon as I
Difficult to
walked through
breathe.
the door, I could feel the difference of the energy, and he was just like, "Whew." You felt.
And I am aware of a lady behind me actually who would have felt like a nurse or a sister, more of a sisterly kind of link. And I want to stand up very regal with this woman, very her way or the highway.
Authority, yes.
And I got one of those curly hats on.
Oh yes, the
One of
nurses'
those-
caps they used to wear.
One of those curly hats, but she feels incredibly stern. Very stern. Can you pick that up?
I'm not picking that up, but I am picking up like screeching of like metal beds. Would you understand metal beds? They're kind of feeling and where they've been moved around, like tiny little wheels.
Yes, they were pushed outside. Yes.
Okay, I'm getting that kind of screeching sound as things are being moved around in here. Quite a somber energy, I'd like to say. Even though some children were happy, there's also a lot of children that
you
weren't.
can feel the ripples of playfulness here as well, though.
Yeah, that's so that like you can feel the children playing, but
Yeah,
you can also feel
very
the children
oppressive.
not, very sad. But then there's also it's a real contrast, isn't there, from the happy children to the not so happy children.
I always feel a bit sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
queasy.
Did you pick that up for a non-psychic?
No,
No?
I'm wanting in that area, I'm afraid. But it's interesting to see what you can sense and feel.
And it does feel like packed, doesn't it?
Yeah,
sardines.
There's a lot in areas. And I'd like to go to say that it wasn't just, it was packed up higher. So like multiple beds up higher, if you understand, like bunk beds, I suppose. So I'm feeling more on top of each other as well.
That's very much how they were packed in, wasn't it?
Oh yes, no, as many as possible.
Yeah.
And then pushed outside every day.
Yeah.
So yes, it does feel like a very crowded space, and although there is the feeling of oppression, there is still flickers and glimmers of a more playful energy, which is really good. But I do get the feeling I'd quick hide because, like, the matrons come in, or
there is a bit
that
of
kind of feel to
kind
it.
of giggle, isn't there? And I'd like to say as well, when we look down that corridor, it's like little peeking up behind the doors.
Yes, a playful energy. Yeah.
Yes. We had one visitor here, an elderly lady. I think she was in her 80s, and she remembers being here and said that she was in a bed here and could obviously see down the passageway. And when the matron came up the stairs and started to walk towards the ward, she could give the alarm. Matron's on the way. So they'd all
scurry back to their beds.
Can you imagine though? I mean, those kids were literally almost strapped in their beds 24 hours a day. With no entertainment.
No education.
No education. And often 2 or 3 years, I think 3 or 4 years is the longest that we know about, of somebody who came here. Can you imagine 2 or 3 years not being able to see your brothers and sisters, not being able to see your parents?
Well, they were given church services or churchy vicars visits.
Well, they had lots of stuff rammed down their throats, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Or they didn't have rammed down their throats what they needed, which was love and their family.
Of course it was. It was an isolation hospital.
So they would have had the vicar come and see them, would they?
They could have. They possibly could have. But other than that, I think parents would be looking through the windows, particularly at birthdays and Christmas time and things like that.
So very sad.
I think the children themselves were entertained occasionally, particularly down in the theatre, very occasionally. But it was a very somber time.
Do you know whether the staff had to stay here as well? Because I'm getting the real sense of feeling that the staff also felt like that they were in a prison, basically, because they couldn't go home either.
Having spoken to a few people who were nurses here at the time and looked at the evidence of the people who were here, some stayed and some didn't.
Yes.
Those who stayed had and experienced the same oppression
Yeah.
that everybody else did at that particular time. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because prior to 1919, this place was light, full of light, full of love, full of music, whilst Adelina had it. And then it changed
completely
into really quite a dark period. Yeah, quite a dark period. And that's it for another program of In the Psychic Chair. So big thank you to Donna Miskin. Thank you for being our guest medium.
Thank you
and
for
of course, Elaine Taylor, our medium in residence, and the everlasting, ever-enduring Mr. Jeremy Marsh. Thank you, Jeremy. So we'll be back again with you next week. We hope you've enjoyed this week In the Psychic Chair.
9 ghost stories to fuel paranormal paranoia for insomniacs. A man unable to say no. A headless horse seeks revenge. An ancient castle lost in time. A medium guided by a haunted pen. The whispering windmill. An abandoned railway station. A girl and a raven. A secret passageway. And the very strange absent ball. Illustrated by Jill Brooks and written by Lazarus Carpenter. Available from Amazon, Lulu, Artist and Makers Emporium.uk and LazarusCarpenterAuthor.com.
MostHauntedCastle.com. Paranormal investigations with a difference. Visit our website or ring reception for details 01639 731167. In the Psychic's Chair, the veil between worlds thins, as the smoke deep and let the unseen truths of the immersed, guiding us into the unknown.